Hi, I'm Libra. Welcome to your December 2019 Astrology 33 bonus love reading. Thank you to those of you who've liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And for those of you interested in booking a personal reading with me, I actually won't be offering those until around the second week of December. So just keep an eye out for an announcement on the channel. I'm not sure of the date just yet, but I'm definitely feeling like it'll probably be the second week of December because I have some travel coming up. All right, and as far as what we have in front of us, this is why I call it a bridge and a gap spread. And the way it works is the cards on the left side represent your energy toward the connection with your main love interest. Cards on the right side represent their energy toward the connection. These are the past energies, present, future. And then once we get through all those, we'll actually pull some oracle cards to gain some additional insight. That's where the bridge and the gap dynamic comes into play. And as far as the decks being used, on the left side we have the Lover's Path Tarot. On the right side we have the Tarot of Sexual Magic. I do have to say, both of you guys got a lot of cards that came out in the future position, so it's going to be an interesting reading. At first glance, it didn't look like they were making much sense to me, but we'll see. Mercury is still retrograde at the time I'm recording this, but so hopefully we can make some sense of it. But yeah, just wanted to give you guys a heads up. There's a lot coming up in the future. All right. So, past position on your side, we have the Prince of Cups and Desire. So this is actually the equivalent of the Chariot card, and Prince of Cups is actually the equivalent of the Knight of Cups, which is a Pisces energy for me. So what this could be saying is that maybe you guys made a love offer to someone in the recent past, and it could be someone that lives at a distance from you, or since for you guys Cancer represents your 10th house of career and social status. Maybe for some of you, it's someone you work with, especially since for you, Pisces is also 6th house. So there could definitely be a work connection with this person. Another way this could play out too, though, 10th house is also social status. So I do think of when you get into serious commitments, yes, in a way, the partnership itself is 7th house. But as far as how you're seen, I view that as a bit of a 10th house thing, as far as, single versus in a relationship, right? So that could be what this is saying there. A lot of emotional energy here, though, because it's 2 cup cards, essentially. That's Cancer energy and Pisces energy. So this could just be saying that someone that you're very deeply connected to emotionally, and since this is called desire there could just be a lot of physical attraction as well. But yeah, that's what I'm picking up on with that. Past energy on their side, we have the Knave of Pentacles. So this is the equivalent of the Page of Pentacles. And what always stands out to me with this deck in particular, with the Knave of Pentacles, is we see the small pentacle symbol down at the bottom, but aside from that, I see a lot of cups, So that's the interesting part that stands out to me with this, which could be saying, here's the weird, however weird this is going to sound. One way I see this could be playing out is maybe you made a love offer to this person, let them know that you wanted something stable, right? Since we're thinking of 10th house with the Cancer card being 10th house in your chart, and desire, right? So desire for stability, long-term commitment with the 10th house. And maybe whenever you try to bring that up, maybe this is multiple times that you've made this type of, or at least tried to broach the subject with the person. Maybe this is saying that for them in the past, they would actually try to smooth talk around it, as far as because the Knave of Pentacles energy to me is, well, all of the Page energies, I always say they're the one foot in, one foot out energy. They might be sincere in a way, but also at the same time, not too sure of themselves, not too confident. So this could just be saying that maybe they're, at least in the past, they were coming off as a bit non-committal. And maybe because you guys have a very deep, passionate connection, they try to just shift the subject from the stability and try to get back into the romantic aspect of it, basically. Hopefully that made sense for you guys. In the present position on your side, we have the 7 of Staves. So this is actually Leo energy. It represents the last 10 degrees of Leo. So this could just be saying that you feel guarded in some way. So again, maybe let's put it in a kind of a generic term. So maybe you made an offer to them in the past, right? Maybe you felt like they weren't as receptive to it as you would have liked, right? Like I said, if you told them you wanted something serious. Maybe they told you that they weren't quite there yet, right? Or again, just tried to change the subject on you. So now in the present, you might be feeling guarded, like they might be coming back around, right? With that passion, again, with the dragon symbol there, right? The fiery symbol. So this could just be saying that they bring a lot of passion to the connection. But now that you've expressed to them that you wanted something more serious, and it seems like they're not on the same page as you, now you could be feeling pretty guarded towards them. So that could be what's at play there. Um, Interestingly enough, on their side for the present energy, we have a similar vibe in a way because we have the Nine of Wands. So this is actually also a bit of a defensive energy as well. So could just be saying that, maybe this is them trying to get you out of that though, or again, maybe they don't understand why you're being standoffish with them now. You know what I mean? As far as you made an offer to them in a serious way, and again, maybe they didn't even really perceive it that way. That could be one way to play it out, especially since this is the past energy, and maybe let's say you guys had this conversation during the retrograde. Might have just been crossed wires there, so maybe they didn't quite pick up on what you were saying. That's one potential way it could be playing out. So now you could be defensive towards them, thinking, oh, well, they kind of blew me off when I asked them if they were interested in something more serious. And they might be trying to figure out, well, why is she guarded right now? Or why is he guarded right now? As far as, with that Nine of Wands energy, if you think about in the traditional tarot, it's a guy that's holding a wand and there's 8 behind him, and then he has a bandage on his head. And he has this look on his face like he's waiting for the other shoe to drop, So he's like, okay. So maybe this person tries to come back in and you're all defensive with them and they don't understand where that's coming from. So definitely keep that in mind. If you guys did make some kind of offer during the retrograde, it might have just been as simple as crossed wires. It might not be anything huge. But in a way, it seems like, or maybe it's even both of you regarded for whatever reason. Maybe that's just how the conversation went off. Maybe because you both realize that you're viewing the connection in a different way, right? Where you see it's something that's more serious, they don't. Maybe now you're both guarded, like, oh, I don't know where we go from here. That's another way it could be playing out too. Future energy on your side, you got a lot of cards. So let's see. We have King of Cups, which is a Scorpio energy. Balance, which is a Sagittarius energy. Prince of Arrows, which is a Gemini energy. And Six of Coins, which is a Taurus energy. So a lot going on there, right? Well, actually, one thing that, now that I'm looking at these, one thing that does stand out to me as interesting is we have Scorpio and Taurus energy, which are opposites, and then we also have Sagittarius and Gemini energy, which are opposites. Which, in one way, I guess it could just represent the Libra polarity, right, of always trying to look at both sides of a situation. So maybe this is saying, in the Scorpio season, you were trying to look at it from both vantage points, right, the Scorpio and the Taurus vantage point. Now we're in the Sag season, you're looking at it from the Sagittarius and the Gemini vantage point. That's one way it could be playing out, but I'm not picking up on that as heavily. What I see here is this could just be you. If we think about Scorpio energy, they could definitely love very deeply, but they could also be closed off a bit emotionally as well. So again, this could just be a continuation of, like I said, if you guys made the offer and you felt like they weren't receptive to it in the way you thought, now you're on guard. This could just be saying you're still guarding your emotions, especially if you look at the fact that he has his back turned to the cards on this side. So this could just be saying that at least, whatever went down here, now you might be a bit closed off. But with the balance card coming up next, this could just be saying that you could be considering communicating with them again, though, because for you guys, Sagittarius is your third house of communication. And, obviously there's going to be a lot of energy in there as we move through December. And then on top of that, we have Prince of Arrows, which is, like I was saying, Gemini energy, so another indicator of communication. And for you guys, since your chart is basically flipped, this could just be saying that now you're looking at things from a different vantage point, a higher vantage point. Because if we look at this artwork, it looks like he's clearly in the clouds, right? So it could just be saying that with Sagittarius season, maybe you're looking at things from a higher vantage point, and maybe even more specifically when we have that full moon in Gemini, because there will be a full moon in Gemini, which is your ninth house. So maybe that actually helps you see things from a higher perspective. And then here, this could just be saying that whatever conclusion you come to around that time, maybe you do attempt to restore balance with this person. Maybe even sexually. You know what I mean? It could just be however many cards we have here, could just be as simple as saying that you guys are going to have makeup sex in the near future. Because for you guys, Taurus is your eighth house. So yeah, it could just be as simple as that. But what stands out to me with this card, though, is we see there's two pentacles on this side, and you would think that this was the person's third, right? And it seems like he's offering it to her, even though she already has three. And then in the background, we see the snow, which makes me think of the fact that in traditional tarot, after, we see the Five of Pentacles, for example, it looks like two people walking in a snowstorm. They're going through a pretty rough time. So to me, this is a continuation of that energy in that regard, which is to say, all right, maybe you come to a realization that there was an imbalance in the past, and maybe now you're putting in more effort. Or on the flip side of that, again, like I said, if you made the offer in the past and you feel like they were closed off to it, you might now be waiting for them to put in more effort, you know what I mean, in order to restore the balance. Because that's what stands out to me more than anything. Usually we think of the Six of Pentacles as balance, but especially it stands out a bit more in this particular card that, well, if he places that pentacle down there, then it's not balance anymore, right? There's two on his side, four on her side. So could just be saying whoever you realize, oh, okay, maybe I didn't put in enough effort in the past, now you're going to do it. Or this could just be you coming to the realization that you're going to wait for that. Either way, looks like there's should be something that goes down around the time of that Gemini full moon. So keep an eye out for that. Hopefully we made sense of that. I don't even remember half what I said at this point, since there's so many cards, but similarly, on their side, in the future, we also have a lot of cards. We have the Ten of Swords, the Fool, the Knave of Chalices, and the Hermit. So, all right, I forgot to mention what signs they were. So this is a Gemini energy here. This is just a general, fresh start, taking a leap of faith type energy. It doesn't represent any sign in particular. Knave of Chalices, similar as far as it doesn't represent any specific water sign, but it does usually represent making an emotional offer. And then the Hermit, this is actually the major arcana card for Virgo. So, all right, let's see if we can make sense of these now. So, Ten of Swords. The first thing that comes to my mind here is that maybe they perceive the connection as over at this point. Like I said, maybe you made an offer to them in the past. You felt like they were a bit non-committal. It seemed like you weren't getting the response from them that you wanted. So now you're guarded in the present. Maybe they come back around to you to try to make an offer. You seem to shut it down. So now they're like, okay, well, I guess this is over, right? What's interesting with that, though, if that's the way it's playing out with the Fool energy, it could go either way, where, this could be them trying to take a leap of faith and come back around to you, or this could be them, again, because they feel that this connection's over. Maybe this is saying that they're going to just try to pursue something completely different. Now, I'm leaning towards saying that they're probably actually going to be coming back around to you, because with the Knave of Chalices energy, what I see here is it looks like, it looks like he's trying to write a letter, right? And we see crumpled up balls of paper on the floor. It looks like he's crumbling up another one there. And so this could just be them, trying to figure out, okay, well, I want to try again with this person, but they could just be trying to figure out how best to even communicate that to you. Like I said, because it seems like both of you ended up in guarded energy in the present for totally different reasons, possibly, but it seems like that's where things were a bit stuck. And then we also do see a full moon there. So that makes me think that you might hear from them again around the time of that Gemini full moon. And the Hermit card could just be saying that they're really keeping to themselves and really, really trying to look into this deeply. Like, all right, what's the deal? You know, trying to figure out how best to approach it. Um, and, you know, I do have to say what's interesting about this too is for you guys, Virgo is your 12th house. So it might even say that the difficulty might be that you don't trust the person at this point. So definitely interesting energies there. Trying to, and for some of you, maybe even it's you that does communicate to them. That's the weird thing. However weird all of these energies seem to be, it looks like really the main thing that I'm picking up on was that in the past, this just might have been as simple as crossed wires, which got both of you guarded for different reasons. You feeling like, well, I made an offer to this person, seemed like they weren't taking it seriously, so now I'm not going to take them seriously. And obviously, with all the cup energy there does seem to be an emotional, passionate connection, so they might come back around. And now they don't understand why you're closed off. You know what I mean? So now they're guarded, like, okay, I don't understand what's going on here. And now, so in the future, you guys both don't seem happy with the way things turned out. But let me look at these cards again. I feel like for most of you, they might reach out, or it could just be saying that with the Knave of Pentacles, I have to think of it another way too. With the Knave of Chalices, rather, it could just be saying that since we do see all those crumpled up pieces of paper, it could just be saying that they really do want to reach out, but then eventually they just get stuck in their head with that hermit energy and decide to not bother. So that's one way that those energies could be playing out. And like I said, let me just look at your cards again and see. Yeah, it really can go either way, to be honest with you, because like I said, here we see the balance. So could this be saying that you want to restore balance? Because this, again, Sagittarius is your third house of communication. This is another indicator of communication. And then the Six of Coins, again, could go either way. Could be saying you realize that, you have to restore balance or you're going to wait for them to do so. Now, I have to say, given the past position, more of you probably feel like they're the ones who have to come in and restore the balance. So, I mean, well, this is interesting because I feel like you both want to communicate to each other, but I just feel like I'm not sure it's going to happen. So we'll see if the Oracle cards add anything to the mix. Bottom of the deck on your side, we have fertility. So I do have to say I was picking up on the pregnancy vibe in your general reading for December, so you might want to watch that, given that we have this on the bottom of the deck. But this could just be saying that you're taking on that Empress energy, which is to say you're in a more receptive mode and maybe in your thought process of I'm going to let them come to me. So that might close that part of the mystery up as far as you might be digging in and waiting for them to reach out to you. On bottom of the deck on their side, we have the Three of Chalices. So Cancer energy here. Usually it has that celebratory vibe to it. Usually long-standing connections as well. And what else stands out to my mind with this is that represents the middle 10 degrees of Cancer, and there will be an eclipse in those degrees in I think around between the 10th and 15th of January, somewhere in there. So maybe there's some significance to that. But what stands out to me here too, again going back to that fertility thing, there is an egg on the table, so that makes me think of the fertility aspect as well. So keep in mind, if you guys do get back together in the future for some makeup sex, if you're planning on conceiving, that's great, but if not, you might want to keep that in mind, that we're seeing that there. But yeah, let's see what we get as far as messages from the Oracle cards. So first I'll see if we get anything from the Mystic Moon Oracle deck. For those of you who haven't seen this type of reading from me before, I do pre-shuffle the decks before I start recording. So I'm just looking for jumpers here. First, I'm going to look to see if we have any unspoken messages from you to them, and then from them to you. And if I shuffle for a bit and nothing seems to be coming up, I just take that as a sign to keep it moving rather than force it and pull a random card or anything. So let's see what we get, if anything. First, we're looking for unspoken messages from you to them. Alright, nothing coming up yet, but I'll give it a few more shuffles before we move on. Alright, got a couple. And then we'll see if we have any unspoken messages from them to you. At the very least, that Knave of Chalice's energy in the future on their side looks like they do have a lot they want to say, but let's see if we get anything here. Alright, nothing coming up, but I'll shuffle a few more times, see if we get anything. Nope, nothing coming up there, which, to be fair, that does seem to fit what I was saying with the whole Knave of Chalice's energy, but let's see what we have on your side. So we have your beauty still moves me. So yeah, that could just be pointing back to the desire card that we saw in the past. Like I said, could just be a lot of physical attraction if nothing else. And then we have I feel damaged, like I just can't do this. Interesting. So that makes me think of what we see in the present, which is, like I said, maybe you guys really felt like you put yourselves out there and made an offer to them, which, to be fair, that's not Libra's style normally too, so that might have been a really, step out of character for you guys. But yeah, maybe you feel like you made an offer to them in the past, they didn't seem receptive, at least not in the level that you were hoping for. So now this is why you're in that Seven of Staves mode where you're like, well, yeah, I'm not letting this person back in, basically. So that could be what's going on there. Let's see what else we get from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. So same situation here. I did pre-shuffle this one before we started recording, and then we'll just see if we get a jumper here, and then we'll wrap up after that. Looking for just one here, so let's see what we get. Alright, nothing coming up yet. Worst case, if we have to, I will pull a random one just because, I do like to close these readings with at least one of these cards, but we'll see. I'll shuffle for a little longer, see if we get anything to jump. Oh, got one there. Okay, you got Thinker. There's the artwork, and the number is 44. Okay, it says strategy, being analytical and logical. The Oracle's message. The ability to reason and strategize is the focus now. Take things at face value and follow a logical path. Your calculations will prove to be correct, for in this moment there is no deeper meaning than what is obvious. Things are exactly as they seem. You have all the information you need. Keep it simple and you will win the game of life you're playing right now. So, interesting there. I mean, there's a few ways I could see that message coming across, as far as one could be, if it really is as simple that you do still feel the passionate connection for them, right? But you're just trying to fight it off for whatever reason. Maybe it's saying that there's a reason you're feeling that way, So I hope we got something from that. And then here it says, love is not logical, but when you choose a partner, it is good to have things in common other than desire. This is a time to weigh the pros and cons of your partnership. If there is enough common ground, go for it. If not, there are other fish in the sea. Don't force it to work. And should others tell you who they are, take them at their word. Now is not the time to indulge in a fantasy. No matter what, in this case, the facts are the facts. So interesting there. One thing that stood out to me reading that was the fact that it says it is good to have things in common other than desire. And that made me think of the fact that, obviously it's literally called desire in this deck, but the fact that you had the chariot in the past position. So, for some of you, it may even be that, where maybe this was something that was really passionate between the two of you in the past. And maybe, again, when you combine those energies, where you say the desire, but then also, like I said, since that represents your 10th house, maybe when you try to move things in a more committed, serious, direction with them, they might have seemed a bit wishy-washy about that. So maybe that, is what has you feeling guarded now. So that could just be saying that maybe you've come to that realization that, okay, well, this is someone that I don't really have that long-term potential with, right? So that could be saying that that's what's going on there. It's like you realize, okay, yes, the attraction is strong, so maybe that's why we see that Seven of Staves energy, where it's like you're trying to, fight them off because you do feel that attraction, but you're realizing that there's just nowhere for it to go. That could be how it's playing out for some of you. But interestingly enough, I don't know if that's the whole story though, because like I said, in the future, it does seem like there is still interest. Yeah, I don't know. So hopefully that resonated for you guys. But yeah, we'll wrap up there. Happy holidays, and I'll see you guys next year. All right, bye.